Hello and welcome. I'm Robin Joy of Glow 360 and I'm delighted to be speaking with you. In this webinar, I'm going to explain in detail the one change I made to my morning routine that had nothing to do with my diet and nothing to do with exercise, but which resulted in me losing the 15 excess kilos that I'd slowly but surely accumulated over 15 years in just 10 months, keeping all the weight off for over a year so far, enjoying every moment of the process, but most importantly, it's enabling me to live each and every day since losing the weight without any concern whatsoever of putting any of the weight back on. And it's that knowledge that I really cherish. Knowing I have command over my body and will forever has filled me with a sense of freedom, confidence, gratitude and joy, and inspired me to share my story and my process with you. Now, I don't know your specific story. I don't know why you've clicked through to hear my story about permanent weight loss. But if you're anything like I was, or the over 100 women that I've helped so far, then your life very likely fits into one of two storylines: stretched thin or highly focused. So if your story is about being stretched thin, then you tend to want to be all things to all people, to live up to some unrealistic image that you've bought into of being perfect. And so you strive to be seen as the perfect mother, the perfect partner or wife, the perfect daughter, sibling, friend and colleague, as well as the perfect employee or business owner and boss. The list can go on and on and on, and whilst the pressure you feel is real, it's often being created and placed upon you by yourself. A common outcome of being stretched thin is that you consistently put your own needs last. And being stretched thin can lead to feeling overwhelmed, but it can also cause uncomfortable and even unhealthy levels of anxiety and stress. If you're highly focused, on the other hand, then you tend to focus a majority of your time and energy on one, maybe two key areas of your life, to the neglect and detriment of all others. And so maybe you have a great business or an advancing career, and maybe you have financial security as a result. But your physical appearance, some key personal relationships, and even your physical and mental health aren't what you need them to be, let alone what you want them to be, in order to resemble your idea of happiness. And maybe, like I used to, you tell yourself that your achievements and the lifestyle that you can afford compensate you for the disappointment you feel in these other neglected areas of your life. But the truth is, they don't. Because as well as feeling off balance a lot of the time, being highly focused can cause you to feel isolated and alone, which in turn can lead to feeling anxious and even depressed. But regardless of which storyline your life currently relates more closely to, or where you're at in life right now as a result, it is possible for you to start living a storyline of abundant happiness, which includes allowing yourself to have your ideal physical experience without the need to sacrifice the things you love or to physically punish yourself. Now, whilst I don't know the specific details of your story, there are three things that I do know for sure. The first is that you're watching this video because there's something about your physical self that you want to change in association with your body. So it's size, shape, condition and/or weight. And secondly, I know that your current perspective about that aspect of yourself is negative, possibly even verging on hate. And thirdly, I know that it's absolutely possible for you to achieve and maintain what I term as your ideal physical experience, whatever that means for you. Now, the good news is that today, not only am I going to explain the one change I made to my morning routine, I'm also going to explain why and how I did it, because you need all three bits of information to fully understand my story and my process. But before I do that, let me tell you just 5 things about myself so that you know I know what I'm talking about. For 10 years, I competed as a junior elite level athlete in 2 sports, athletics and netball. I gained state and national representation, and I attended the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra on a scholarship for netball. As my sporting career was starting to wind down, I turned my attention to my studies, and in 1995 I graduated from the University of South Australia with a business degree, majoring in marketing. I went on to spend 20 wonderful years working as a corporate executive in the Australian optometry industry, so think prescription lenses or spectacles if you will. I started out as the customer service coordinator for a global organisation that had their Australian head office located in Adelaide, my hometown, and I ended up in Sydney as the Australian general manager for the world's largest ophthalmic lens manufacturer, Essilor. 2 years ago, I followed my passion and my purpose, and I started my own consultancy business, Glow 360, where I work as a success mindset coach, specializing in empowering ambitious women and girls to achieve their definition of happiness by learning and using the law of attraction's principles. And despite all the horror stories that people will tell you about starting your own business, my experience has been that 3 months after starting Glow 360, my client roster was full. Now, I attribute most of my professional success to a competitive advantage that I've had and used over the course of my career. You see, 25 years ago, I became aware of a concept called the law of attraction, which I instantly and instinctively knew to be true for 2 reasons. Firstly, I could easily recall having had a number of coincidental experiences whereby the focus of my thoughts somehow became my reality. And secondly, I was overwhelmed by a deep and profound awareness that the concepts I was reading about were true. And so that marked the beginning of my personal quest to learn as much as I could about the law of attraction so that I could use it as my competitive advantage to help me get ahead and to live the exceptional life that I wanted for myself. Now, I'll tell you more about my understanding of the law of attraction shortly, but for now, let me share with you what the one change I made to my morning routine was. And remember, this one change resulted in me losing 15 kilograms in just 10 months, enjoying every moment of the process. But most importantly, I now live each and every day without any thought, let alone fear, of putting any of the weight back on. So, are you ready? This is the good stuff after all. I changed the thought I had about myself first thing in the morning. I'll say that again. I changed the thought I had about myself first thing in the morning. And specifically, I changed it from being highly critical and pessimistic to being supremely complimentary and optimistic. Now, it's important that you understand the details of what I did, so in the interest of full disclosure, let me explain that I'd observed myself having the same seriously critical thought first thing in the morning over a period of several weeks, and that observation terrified me for 2 reasons. The first is that our true beliefs are most honestly expressed through our subconscious thoughts. So the thoughts we think automatically without any specific intention or direction from ourselves. And secondly, because I've spent 25 years researching and refining my understanding of the law of attraction to the point that I now consider myself to be an expert in its structure, principles, and functioning, I understand that we believe what we experience and we experience what we believe. And because of the specific nature of the critical thought that I'd observed myself having, it meant that my body image issues were only going to get worse, which is exactly what had been happening for the past 15 years. You see, the reason I'd been struggling to lose weight for so long is that I was unknowingly caught up in a repetitive weight loss, weight gain cycle that went a little something like this. My weight would reach a point that I referred to as my maximum density, which was simply a weight that I defined as being my absolute upper limit. And so anytime I hit my point of maximum density, I'd panic, I'd get motivated, and I'd make some serious lifestyle changes, which always meant increasing the amount of exercise I was doing and decreasing my calorie intake across the day. And so before long, I'd noticed that my weight would start to decrease. And so these new behaviours would continue, but only for as long as it took for me to reach what I term my point of complacency, which was a weight at which I felt pretty good and that the risk of me becoming seriously overweight was gone. And so I'd usually allow myself to relax a bit at this point. And so I'd start to indulge in some treats, or maybe I'd relax a little bit on the exercise front, allowing myself to skip an early morning workout or 2 or 3. But of course, all the treats and the missed workouts meant that my weight would start to plateau. And so I'd go from feeling highly motivated to feeling somewhat disheartened, so much so that before long, I'd be back at maximum density. And so I changed the thought that I had about myself first thing in the morning to break the weight loss, weight gain cycle that I'd been caught up in for 15 years, because my point of maximum density had gone from 75 kilograms in 2002 when I was 30 to 90 kilograms in 2017 when I was 45. And I knew that if I allowed that trend to continue, I'd be 105 kilograms by the time I turned 60. And so I changed the thought that I was having about myself first thing in the morning, which was, oh my God, Robin, you're getting so fat. If you don't do something drastic, soon there'll be no going back. 2, hey girl, you're looking good. The changes you want to see are starting to occur. It's happening. And that's it. That's the one change I made to my morning routine. But for that one change to make sense and to be both credible and replicable for you, let me put it into context for you, which means explaining why I changed the critical thought I was having automatically to a constructive thought that I'd crafted intentionally. And that means explaining my understanding of the law of attraction cycle to you. You see, whilst the law of attraction isn't a complete secret, it isn't well known or well understood. But the truth is, the law of attraction is just a naturally and constantly occurring energy cycle of life, just like the seasons. And when you understand the cycle, and I mean when you really understand the what, the why, and the how, you're empowered to harness its power as your competitive advantage to lead a truly happy and genuinely rewarding and fulfilling life. Doesn't that sound great? So, what is the law of attraction and why and how does it work? Well, in its simplest but most complete form, the law of attraction principles attest that the beliefs I hold drive the thoughts I think, and the thoughts I think stimulate the emotions I feel. The emotions I feel determine the vibration I project, and the vibration I project connects with the interventions I attract. The interventions I attract facilitate the behaviours I enact, and the behaviours I enact impact the experiences I have, and the experiences I have shape the beliefs that I hold. Now, I really want you to understand this cycle because it's key to motivating you to change any and all negative beliefs that you're currently having about yourself. So our beliefs are formed by the experiences we have over the course of our entire life. Everything we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and do impacts our beliefs. So think about that. Everything you experience, you tend to believe because it is real, you did experience it. The beliefs we hold are integral to determining the life we live because our beliefs drive our thoughts, which in turn drive everything. Our thoughts are energy, and as such they have a frequency or a charge, which equates to their rate of vibration. So negative thoughts have a low frequency, whilst positive thoughts have a high frequency. Our thoughts fall into one of two categories: subconscious, so think automatic, or conscious, so think deliberate. The thoughts we think are imperative to determining the life we live because our thoughts direct our emotions and our behaviours, and because they determine both the composition and the frequency of the interventions we attract. Our emotions are also energy, and as such they also have a frequency which equates to their rate of vibration. Our emotions fall along the emotional energy spectrum, which runs from fear or low frequency through to joy or high frequency. And we're often taught that our emotions are an automatic response to our experiences, but the truth is the emotions we feel and express can be directed with intention by our conscious thoughts. The emotions we feel and express are significant to determining the life we live because in conjunction with our thoughts, our emotions determine the frequency of the interventions we attract. And interventions are simply things, both physical and non-physical, which exist outside of us. I like to think of interventions as being the people, resources, inspiration, motivation, and scenarios that we attract to ourselves based on the energy of our thoughts and emotions. The interventions we attract are key to determining the life we live because they facilitate the behaviours we enact. Our behaviours are the words we speak and the actions we perform. And just like our emotions, our behaviours are an expression of our thoughts. So we don't say or do anything without first having a thought, either subconsciously or consciously. The behaviours we perform are integral to determining the life we live because they contribute significantly to the experiences we have. And our experiences are simply the sum or the combination of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviours. The experiences we have are fundamental to determining the life we live because they shape our perception of reality, and as such, they directly impact our beliefs. And so from this cycle, you can see and understand the very real connection which exists between what we believe, what we think, what we feel, what we attract, how we behave, and therefore the experiences we have over and over and over again. And so it was from developing my understanding of the details of this cycle that I came to see how and why I, and indeed so many people, get caught up in the constant weight loss, weight gain cycle that I described earlier. Because you see, for 15 years, whenever I wanted to lose weight, all I ever focused on was changing my behaviours. I never focused on changing my beliefs because I simply didn't realise that I had to. And even though I'd been using the law of attraction successfully for over 20 years as a highly focused corporate executive, I'd used it almost exclusively to advance my career, which then became starting and growing my business. Two areas of my life that I had positive beliefs about, and therefore two areas of my life that I naturally had positive thoughts about. It was only when I turned my attention to my physical self, an area that I had very negative beliefs about and had done so for many, many years, that I came to realize the significance of my beliefs on driving my thoughts and therefore the experiences that I lived. Now, just for a moment, think about every time you've tried to lose weight. What did you do? You changed your behaviors too, didn't you? Maybe you started a diet or an exercise plan, or indeed both, but I'll bet you didn't spend any time creating and instilling positive beliefs about yourself. Now, call me a skeptic, but I have to believe that the weight loss industry probably doesn't want you to. They make their money from people being stuck in the constant weight loss, weight gain cycle. Now, there is some bad news, and it's that we can't just change our beliefs to be what we need them to be in order to initiate a cycle that will result in the physical experience we desire for ourselves. You see, to change a belief, we must first have at least one experience which permits the change to occur. The good news, however, is that with intention, persistence and discipline, we can change our thoughts. We can intentionally direct our conscious thoughts to align with the positive beliefs that we want to achieve the physical experience that we desire for ourselves. And when we deliberately feel the emotions that align with these new positive thoughts, we will raise the vibration of the energy that we're projecting out into the universe, which in turn attracts different or better high vibration interventions, which in turn facilitate new positive behaviors that will bring about the positive experiences our mind is now intentionally focusing on. And if we keep these intentionally positive thoughts and feelings going for long enough, the interventions that we'll consistently attract and the experiences that we'll consistently have as a result of consistently acting upon them will cause our ideal physical experience to be realized. But it gets even better than that. They'll cause our beliefs to change so as to align with the ideal physical experience that we've created for ourselves. And when this happens, the new cycle, which we intentionally started with our conscious thoughts and emotions, will continue automatically and permanently, because our new positive beliefs will cause us to have positive subconscious thoughts, and then we'll move from a phase of intentional change to one of automatic maintenance. Sound crazy? It is. Crazy good, that is. But it gets even better. You see, the law of attraction is a naturally and constantly occurring cycle of life that's fueled by emotional energy, the most potent of which is joy. So the most important thing about the law of attraction is that you focus on thinking, feeling, and behaving from a place of joy. Now think about that for just a moment. When was the last time you decided to embark on a weight loss or self-improvement endeavor that had your happiness at its core, that asked you to focus on what makes you feel good above all else? Normally when we decide that we want to lose weight or to get in shape, it signifies the beginning of a phase of restriction, of denial, of punishing ourselves physically and sacrificing most of the things that we equate with joy. So anything but fun. But with the law of attraction as your self-improvement strategy, there are two concepts in play. Joy over fear, which makes it easy and fun, and belief over doubt, which can make it challenging for some in the beginning. Now, at the beginning of this video, I said that there are three things I know, and the first is that there's something about your physical self that you want to change, and specifically something to do with your body's size, shape, condition, and/or weight. But I'll bet there's a really strong chance that you've also been thinking about doing something different, something that you haven't done before and that will definitely work for you. Because you're only seeing this video in response to your thoughts and emotions. That's just how it works. And so in line with that, there's something that I've hinted at but not said directly, which I really feel I should. And it's that if you want to change something about yourself and you plan to start a new course of action to support that, so maybe that's a diet or an exercise program, or indeed both, if you don't first address and change your negative beliefs about yourself and your ability to lose weight and keep it off, you'll be wasting your time, your energy, and any money you choose to invest. Because at the end of the day, all of your behaviors are driven by your thoughts, and all of your thoughts are driven by your beliefs, and your beliefs are somewhat set in stone. So unless you do the work required to change your beliefs, your current negative beliefs are going to remain in place and will inevitably kick back in and start driving the same negative thoughts that you've been having, which will facilitate the same negative emotions, which will attract the same negative interventions that will cause the same negative behaviors that will result in the same negative experiences that you've been having all along. That's just the cycle. That's how it is for each and every aspect of your life, which is why any improvements or weight loss that you've managed to achieve in the past have always been short-lived. Now for the last bit of bad news. Changing our beliefs can be really hard. Our beliefs have been formed over the course of our entire life. Everything we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and do impacts our beliefs. And because most people believe that their life will continue much the same as it's always been, they live very repetitive, very persistent lives. Remember, we believe what we experience and we experience what we believe. So just think about that. If your negative beliefs about yourself and your body started to be formed when you were just a child, like mine did, then you've already spent many years believing them, attracting experiences that reinforce them. And that's the reason that you believe them to be true. But they're not the only beliefs that are possible for you. But there is some good news, and it's how I managed to change my beliefs about myself and how I can support you to do the same. So I'm really excited to be able to share my 25 years of research and experience along with my deep understanding and my insatiable passion of the law of attraction through my self-empowerment program, The Attraction Advantage. Specifically, The Attraction Advantage teaches a 6-step process for learning and integrating the law of attraction principles accurately and consistently into your daily life so as to allow you to live your ideal physical experience. Number 1, we'll look at identifying your ideal physical experience. Your ideal physical experience is not just about your weight, but rather your total physical appearance. So it's your body, it's your hair, your skin, your face, your wardrobe, your grooming, and your hands and nails. And most importantly, it's your perception of these things. So identifying your ideal physical experience is really about identifying a physical appearance which generates genuine feelings of self-love and joy. Then we'll move on to managing your beliefs. So this key area covers 2 aspects. What are your current beliefs about yourself and your life, and what do they need to be in order to align with the ideal physical experience that you've identified for yourself? Aligning your thoughts, emotion, behaviors so that they close the gap between your negative self-beliefs and the ideal physical experience, positive self-beliefs that you need. It's all about deeply instilling the positive beliefs that you need and want to adopt. Then we'll talk about creating your action plan, which is all about joy. It's about identifying and implementing your new daily, weekly, or monthly routine so as to reinforce the positive beliefs that you want to instill. Then we'll talk about attracting interventions. So interventions are your competitive advantage, and they make the process of allowing your ideal physical experience easy, fun, and hugely rewarding. And so I'll cover the 4 A's of interventions: asking, acknowledging, acting, and appreciating. And then finally, we'll look at allowing your ideal physical experience, which is simply about relaxing into a state of appreciation so that you can allow yourself to have the ideal physical experience that you desire and deserve. The program is delivered to you via email as a writable PDF document, which means it's self-paced learning, so it'll fit around your already busy life and any competing priorities. You'll have it forever. There are no deleted access or forgotten passwords that you need to worry about. And you can print it out to make notes and complete the exercises by hand, or you can save it to your computer if typing is more your thing. It's very thorough and super comprehensive. So it's over 40 pages of information, exercises, and examples. Because for the best results, it's important to understand which thoughts, emotions, and behaviors you need to introduce or continue, as well as why and how. But it's just as important to understand which thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are sabotaging your experience so that you can eradicate them from your repertoire. And again, why and how to do so. It's practical and logical, which makes it relatable and credible. Trust me, I know only too well how challenging it can be to embrace the philosophy of energy alignment and attraction. I struggled with it for the first 10 years, and so I've been very deliberate in ensuring that I've explained all of the principles and concepts in a manner that you'll understand and be able to relate to. The attraction advantage is not about me conveying information to you. It's about empowering you with a deep and accurate understanding, as well as the inspiration required to implement the principles and strategies for yourself. You will achieve your ideal physical experience with the attraction advantage for 3 reasons. The first is that I'm an experienced and qualified trainer. So as a sales and marketing executive, I spent 20 years producing and delivering practical results-focused training programs for my clients and their teams. And I learned and used a process that I termed the 3-4-1, which simply means that I present information based on the 3 styles of learning. So visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, or see, hear, and do, in order to achieve one outcome, and that's your understanding. So regardless of how you prefer to receive and process information, I've got your back. I'll also satisfy your need to understand the what, the why, and the how. So the attraction advantage provides you with all the information that you need to really understand the philosophy of the law of attraction. Plus, there are exercises for you to do that will guide you through the process of correctly applying the principles to yourself and your life, as well as plenty of examples from my personal experience to ensure that you understand, interpret, and implement the 6 law of attraction principles correctly. And last but certainly not least, I've lived the experience myself. Most of the time, the people offering to guide and support others through weight loss, whether it's via diet or exercise or both, are slim, fit, motivated, and healthy, and they always have been. But I've been where you are. I truly understand the psychological challenges that you do and will face because I have faced them too. And so I share my experiences and my insights and strategies so as to help you overcome them for yourself. The attraction advantage is absolutely not about losing weight. As evident from my before and after photos, it's about feeling proud of yourself for becoming the person that you most want to be, who, as a result, is having a physical experience that they're absolutely delighted with. So in November 2016, when I was 90 kilograms, I'd put on a brave and happy face. But by December 2017, when I was down to my goal weight of 75 kilograms, I was genuinely glowing with confidence, pride, vitality, and joy. So, how do you feel? Super excited, I hope. Is there a voice inside you screaming, yes, this is it. This is the guidance that you've been asking for? Because that's how it was for me when I first became aware of the law of attraction. If that is how you feel, then I'm super excited for you because I know what lies ahead and it is all good. But before you go clicking on any buy now buttons, let me explain that I'm looking for 100 motivated ladies, attractionistas if you will, who are determined to achieve their ideal weight, whatever that means for them, stay that way forever, and break the weight loss, weight gain cycle once and for all. Is that you? If it is, I have 2 fantastic bonus offers for you. Everyone who purchases the attraction advantage, allowing your ideal physical experience, receives my personal money-back guarantee. Here's how it works. When you buy the program and complete it as detailed in the delivery email, if you don't achieve and then maintain your ideal weight, I'll refund your money in full. Bonus offer 2, be one of the first 100 people to purchase the attraction advantage, allowing your ideal physical experience, and you'll receive complimentary access to my 6-week Let's Glow mentoring program. Here's how it works. Be one of the first 100 people to buy the program and complete it as detailed in the delivery email, and then simply email any questions or any points of uncertainty that you might have to a dedicated email address, and then simply watch the 6-part video series for further insights and answers to your questions. So now how do you feel? Super excited, highly engaged, and supremely confident, I hope. Working with me for 3 months as a private client costs $3,000, but you can get the attraction advantage and my 2 bonus offers for just $249 Australian dollars. So if you know that the Attraction Advantage is the right program for you, then simply click on the purchase button below. You'll be led through a seamless purchase process and the program will be emailed directly to you within a matter of minutes. If you're not 100% sure, that's perfectly fine. Feeling positive about the program is important. There are 4 key areas that you should consider before moving ahead. The first is time. So how long will the process take? And that really depends on 2 things. The first is, how significant is the change that you want to achieve, and how conscientious will you be at following the Attraction Advantage 6-step process? But regardless of those 2 factors, you will start to experience the process the moment you start the program. So as soon as you focus your mind on thinking about what you truly want for yourself, you will start to experience the wonder of the law of attraction at work. Ability. So will you be able to follow and apply the process and principles? Well, the short answer is yes, you will. You only saw this ad and now this webinar because you are ready. Philosophy. So embracing the law of attraction as a very real and very advantageous way to live. Trust me, I understand this concern very well. All I can say is that the experiences you will have will be all the evidence you need to keep going and to dive in deeper. I will say that I consider becoming aware of the law of attraction to be the greatest gift I've ever received. And finally, expectation. So what do you want for yourself during this life? Why do you think it's okay to not have the physical experience that you truly desire? And who are you currently being an example to? If you have children, then you owe it to them and yourself to demonstrate who your best self is. What I will say to finish is that changing your beliefs about yourself so that they align with the reality you want instead of the reality that you currently have is going to be the difference between losing some weight and losing all the weight you want, keeping it off forever, and having no concern whatsoever of putting any of the weight back on. And that is just such a great feeling. And of course, once you learn the cycle and you've used it to achieve your ideal physical experience, you can apply the steps to any and every other aspect of your life. So your intimate relationship, your business or your career, your personal life, your finances, even material possessions, anything at all. Thank you so much for watching my webinar right through to the end. I really hope you decide to invest in your long-term happiness and well-being, in allowing yourself to have your ideal physical experience now and forevermore. But most importantly, in taking command of your mind and therefore of yourself and your life, so as to allow yourself to live a life of abundant happiness. I'll look forward to seeing you on the other side in the 6-part video series. So between now and then, I hope you glow with confidence, pride, vitality, and joy.